Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Kyiv on the 23rd of August for a high-stakes meeting with Zelensky. This is the very first visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Ukraine ever since bilateral relations began over 30 years ago. Russia and Ukraine remain locked in a never-ending war. Prime Minister Modi has got world peace and Indian Navy deals on his mind. According to sources, preparations for Indian Prime Minister's visit to a country in active conflict began weeks ago, involving complex logistics and deep coordination on security matters. After concluding his official meetings in Poland on the 22nd of August, Modi is expected to take a 10-hour train to Kyiv. His schedule involves staying in Kyiv for only 7 hours before returning to Poland via the railway. Modi's quick stopover in Ukraine at the invitation of President Zelensky is being seen as a balancing act, after PM Modi's Moscow meeting with Vladimir Putin in July caused quite a few diplomatic ripples in NATO and Washington. Previously, Prime Minister Modi had met Zelensky in June this year on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Apulia, Italy. The Ministry of External Affairs said in a statement, saying, quote, "India has maintained a very clear and consistent position that diplomacy and dialogue can resolve this conflict and which can lead to enduring peace. So dialogue is absolutely essential. On our part, India continues to engage with all stakeholders," unquote. Highlighting India's independent and strategic approach to international relations, the Indian MEA added, quote, "This is not a zero-sum game," unquote. However, this time Modi has more than world peace on his mind. On the agenda are military deals for the Indian Navy and Indian Air Force's transport fleet. Ukraine's state-owned Zoria Mashproy is eyeing an Indian private firm for the joint manufacture of gas turbines used by warships, as per Bloomberg sources. To keep its fleet of AN-72 aircraft flying and Indian Navy Project 11356 frigates cruising, joint manufacture of Ukrainian gas turbines in India will be a game-changer. The Indian Air Force is heavily dependent on the 105 AN-72 medium tactical military transport aircraft used for air maintenance of army troops deployed along the northern frontier, air cargo drop-off, para-drop-off, and medevac. To improve avionics, extend the life cycle by 40 years and upgrade the fleet of 105 AN-32 aircraft, India signed a multi-million-dollar pact with Ukraine's Spetstrekno export. India further plans to upgrade 60 AN-32s within India by FY 28-29 at the rate of 15 per overall cycle, led by 1 base repair depot Kanpur and 3 base repair depot Chandigarh. The war in Ukraine has led to the delay in supplies of gas turbines needed to power the 2 Admiral Grigovich class frigates at the Goa Shipyard Limited during the construction process. The ships are designed around gas turbine propulsion units built by Ukrainian state-owned firm Ukroboronprom. However, Ukrainian firm will not resume gas turbine production until the conflict with Russia comes to an end. It's important to note that the Ukrainian turbines power many other Indian warships including Talwar-class frigates and Kolkata and Vishakhapatnam-class destroyers. Supply chain disruptions due to prolonged war continue to adversely impact the Indian Navy's operational capabilities. Hence, both Ukraine and India stand to gain from joint venture of manufacturing these gas turbines for ships and aircraft in India. In addition to this, Modi is expected to explore avenues for rebuilding trade relations with Ukraine, which were disrupted during the ongoing conflict. Bilateral trade with the embattled country amounted to only $3 billion before the Russian invasion, the vast majority comprised of sunflower seed oils, which continue to be the largest import items, along with cooperation in heavy industry and railways. There were 19,000 Indian students pursuing education in Ukraine before the Russian invasion. Modi-Putin talks are expected to focus on a gamut of India-Ukraine ties, including pharmaceuticals, health and education, agriculture, infrastructure, defense, and people-to-people ties. Earlier, Modi's meeting with Putin had invited a rebuke from NATO and Zelensky. Zelensky described it as a devastating blow to peace efforts, while US NSA Jake Sullivan labeled the visit a disappointment in terms of symbolism and timing, as it coincided with the NATO meeting in Washington. However, at the same time, the United States has repeatedly urged India to harness its close ties with Russia to end what they term the illegal war in Ukraine. US knows that India is one of the rare countries in the world able to wield its influence on both sides of the East-West divide. So should Modi play the role of a peacemaker and convince Zelensky to enter peace negotiations? New Delhi knows that its best role may be that of a mediator and not a negotiator. Indian Foreign Affairs Ministry revealed talks with Russia had been held in May, saying, quote, We have been the country who have the opportunity to talk to the Russians very frankly and bluntly on the issue. On different aspects, others have used us to pass messages. All eyes will be on Modi's Ukraine visit, especially from the US-led Western Bloc, due to New Delhi's close ties with Moscow. Have your say. Should Prime Minister Modi attempt to broker peace in Ukraine? Leave a comment with your opinion and remember to like and subscribe to Inconnect News.